Michael, please don't review this movie. Your review of Ted 1 was so horrible that you didn't even know the name of Seth MacFarlane. Well, internet troll, I object.
Overruled.
Okay, I see your point. Let's just get on with it. Hey, what's up, you guys? So yes, today it's time for another review, this time of the Ted 2 movie that recently came out. And I promise you, it will be a lot better than the one I made in a rush 2 years ago.
It has, I can't remember what his name is, but the guy who does a lot of the voices on Family Guy as a voice actor on this movie.
Alright, so I thought I'll go watch this movie in the movie theater, because if I look online for this movie, I'll probably just find someone who has recorded the movie screen while they went to go see it themselves. And I was wrong. But sadly, I first found out about that about 10 minutes after I got back from the movie theater. And my basic point in all of this is that, yes, this movie is great. Don't get me wrong or anything, it is so great. But is it worth paying money for? In my opinion, no. But anyways, I'll get more into that in a second. But before I do that, I thought I would just explain to you really quickly what the movie is about, plot-wise. Also, you might have guessed that there will be a lot of spoilers in this video, so go watch the movie before watching this video. Alright, let's get going. So the movie starts with Ted marrying his girlfriend Tammy. Straight after that, we jump forward 1 year into the future, and Ted and Tammy's marriage is in ruins. In the meantime, John, played by the always awesome Mark Wahlberg, is still devastated over his divorce with Laurie, who was played by the annoying Mila Kunis in the first film. So Ted and Tammy decide to have a baby to save their marriage. However, it turns out that Tammy is infertile because of her drug use, so they decide they want to adopt instead. However, because Ted is a teddy bear, he has to prove that he is a person in a court of law. So John and Ted find themselves a lawyer, played by the super hot Amanda Seyfried, to fight back. However, the company Hasbro are trying to find out what makes Teddy alive so that they can duplicate that and make money off of it. So they hire the best lawyer in the country to fight against Ted, and they succeed. Ted loses and is now an item. However, with the help of Patrick Megan, played by the incredible Morgan Freeman, they are able to reverse the court's judgment, and Teddy becomes a real person. The movie ends with Tammy and Ted adopting a kid, and John and Samantha, the lawyer who helped fight for them, find love in each other and start dating. Alright, so that was a very short recap, but surprisingly, not that much else happened in this movie. I mean, don't get me wrong or anything, this movie is great, but it isn't very eventful. But I guess it's good to have a movie to watch when you're completely stoned off your ass, and the Ted movies are a perfect example of that. However, everything that Seth MacFarlane has ever created are a perfect example of stoner material. But let's not talk more about weed, even though they really did talk a lot about it in the movie. Alright, so in a behind-the-scenes interview that Seth did for the DVD release, he talked about how, for the second movie, they wanted to take Ted and John and put them in a completely different scenario. And they did do that. However, I noticed that there is a certain formula to all the movies that Seth MacFarlane has created. I'll try to walk you through it. Step 1, everyone's happy and life is good. Step 2, life becomes real and things start to go downhill. Step number 3, somewhat drastic things with comedic effect happens, all leading up to step number 4, the climax. This is the most heartbreaking scenes with the most power. And step number 5, they live happily ever after. Until the next movie where everything is repeated. Oh, and I almost forgot about step 6. This is the part after the movie has been created where the trailer is made, only containing them smoking weed, and a lot of fake scenes that weren't even in the movie happens. Seriously though, the trailer for this movie is probably the worst trailer I've ever seen in my life. However, I'm not CinemaSins, so what do I know? Alright, now even though I have a lot of critique for this movie, I also have a massive amount of love for this movie, which is why I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. And that's because of one simple thing. The sequel was actually better than the first one. I mean, how many movies does that happen for? That's right, not that many. Also, Seth, I demand you finish this trilogy. I do want to see more Ted. And I can't wait to see the third one, if it's made. So I do love this movie, and I would advise you to go watch it. Alright, that's it for me this week, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully you'll subscribe and like the video, because it really helps me out. Alright, bye. John Connor is the only man who has a chance at stopping the Terminators, and Cyberdyne knows this, so they send the Terminator back in time to 1984 to kill Sarah Connor, John's mother, before she has even given birth to him.